Gentlemen, there's a 90-minute window every morning when your blood vessels are most receptive to repair, and most men waste it on coffee and toast. I'm Dr. May Anderson, men's health specialist for over 25 years, and in the next few minutes, I'll reveal what to consume during this window that can restore circulation to areas that matter most, starting as soon as tomorrow morning. But here's what shocked me after treating thousands of men. The ingredient isn't what you think, and the timing changes absolutely everything. Between 7 and 9:30 a.m., your body releases a natural enzyme called endothelial nitric oxide at peak levels. This is your circulation repair window. Most men kill this window with caffeine, which constricts vessels further. But when you feed your body one specific combination during this time, something that activates this enzyme instead of blocking it, you essentially hit a biological reset button. Men report feeling the difference in 48 to 72 hours, not weeks or months. That kind of speed isn't normal unless you're working directly with your body's natural rhythm, which is exactly what this protocol does. Now, before I give you the exact sequence and explain why the order matters more than the ingredients themselves, let me tell you about Richard. His story will help you understand why this works when everything else has failed, including those expensive pills that left you with headaches and that awful flush. Richard walked into my clinic at 67 looking defeated. He'd tried the pharmaceutical route. It worked occasionally but came with side effects he hated. He'd bought supplements his friends recommended. Nothing consistent. But what broke my heart was when he said, "Dr. Anderson, I feel like I'm disappearing to my wife." That sentence stayed with me because I hear it constantly from men who desperately want to show up fully, but their bodies won't cooperate. After 25 years specializing in male vitality, I've learned something the pharmaceutical approach misses entirely. Your body doesn't need forcing, it needs proper signaling. And that signaling happens during very specific metabolic windows that most doctors never discuss with their patients. Richard was skeptical when I told him the solution involved food timing, not medication. But he trusted me enough to try. What happened over the next 21 days completely changed how I explain circulation recovery to every patient now. Here's what you need to understand about what really happens inside your body after 60. When blood flow to your pelvic region decreases, that's the visible symptom everyone focuses on. But the same restriction is happening in your heart, your brain, your kidneys. Erectile function is your body's early warning system, the canary in the coal mine. It's telling you, Houston, we have a vascular problem. Studies show men who experience consistent erectile difficulties have 80% higher risk of cardiovascular events within 5 years if they don't address root circulation. This isn't just about intimacy anymore. This is about longevity. For Richard, the signs were everywhere once I taught him what to look for. He'd notice shortness of breath climbing stairs. His thinking felt foggy by afternoon, especially after lunch when he used to be sharpest. He was waking up needing to urinate 3 times a night, prostate pressure from poor vascular drainage. He'd have cold hands and feet even in warm rooms because peripheral circulation had weakened. His ankles would swell slightly by evening. These symptoms weren't separate problems requiring different specialists. They were all branches of the same root. Compromised microcirculation throughout his entire vascular network. And here's the part that frustrated me as a physician. This cascade is completely reversible with the right nutritional timing protocol. Your blood vessels can regain elasticity. Your endothelial cells can repair themselves. The smooth muscle tissue lining your arteries can strengthen again. But you have to work with your body's natural rhythm, not against it. Most men are fighting their own biology by eating the right things at the wrong times, which is why random supplementation fails so consistently. When Richard started the morning protocol, I told him to track 3 specific things: morning energy levels, afternoon mental clarity, and nighttime bathroom trips. I didn't even mention sexual function for the first week. I wanted him focused on systemic circulation changes, because that's where real healing begins. Too many men obsess over performance and miss the bigger picture of total vascular health. Day 4, he texted me, "Only got up once last night." That single sentence told me his pelvic circulation was improving. When blood flow increases to the prostate and bladder, the constant urgency decreases naturally. Day 9, He reported feeling mentally sharper during his morning chess games with his grandson. Better cerebral blood flow equals better cognitive function. It's that direct. Day 14, his wife mentioned he seemed more present, more engaged in conversations, like he was actually listening instead of just nodding along. Day 16, he noticed his hands felt warmer throughout the day. And then day 18. This is where it gets important for you. Richard called me almost whispering. Dr. Anderson, something happened this morning I haven't experienced in 2 years. His voice cracked. Not because of the physical function returning, but because he felt like himself again. That identity restoration is what every man I've treated wants more than anything else. Now here's what you need to understand about why this happened to Richard, because this is the science that makes this method work for nearly every man who commits to it consistently. Your body operates on what we call metabolic windows. Specific times when certain biological processes are hypersensitive to nutritional signals. Miss the window, and even the right nutrients don't absorb properly. They pass through your system without activating the mechanisms they're supposed to trigger. Hit the window perfectly, and you create a cascade effect that repairs multiple systems simultaneously. That 7 to 9:30 a.m. window I mentioned at the beginning? 3 critical things happen during those hours that never align this perfectly at any other time of day. This synchronization is what pharmaceutical companies can't replicate with pills, because pills work against your biology rather than with it. First, your endothelial cells, the delicate lining of your blood vessels, produce maximum nitric oxide during these morning hours. This is the compound that makes vessels expand and allows blood to flow freely to every organ, every extremity, every tissue that needs oxygen and nutrients. It's the same mechanism those blue pills try to trigger artificially, but your body makes it naturally every single morning without any chemical intervention needed. The problem is that without the right nutritional cofactors present during peak production, your body can't sustain adequate levels throughout the day. Second, your Leydig cells in your testes are producing peak testosterone levels between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. Not synthetic testosterone that comes with risks and side effects, your own natural production running at maximum capacity. But here's the catch that most men never learn. Testosterone production requires specific mineral cofactors to complete the biochemical conversion process. Without those minerals present during this window, production drops dramatically by afternoon, leaving you feeling drained, unmotivated, and disconnected from your masculine energy. This is why men often feel best in the morning and progressively worse as the day continues. You're literally running out of testosterone because morning production wasn't properly supported. Third, your liver is completing its overnight detoxification cycle during these hours, which makes nutrient absorption 3 times more efficient than any other time of day. While you sleep, your liver processes toxins, metabolizes hormones, and prepares your digestive system for optimal nutrient uptake. This is your metabolic clean slate moment when everything you consume gets processed with maximum effectiveness. If you eat the wrong foods or miss this window entirely, you're essentially wasting your body's most receptive state. When you consume the right combination during this window, and I'm about to give you the exact sequence, you're essentially telling your body, use these building blocks right now while all 3 systems are primed and ready. The result? Improved circulation, hormone optimization, and cellular energy production all activated simultaneously. Richard didn't understand the science behind it. He just followed the protocol I gave him exactly as I prescribed it. But this 3-way synchronization is why his body responded in 18 days when years of random supplementation had accomplished nothing. He'd been taking zinc supplements at night, fish oil at lunch, vitamin D whenever he remembered. All good nutrients, all wrong timing. Here's Richard's exact protocol, and what I now recommend to every male patient over 60 who walks through my door looking for real solutions instead of temporary fixes. Step 1 happens between 7 o'clock and 7:15 a.m. Immediately upon waking before you do anything else. 2 tablespoons of raw, unfiltered honey mixed with warm water. Not hot water, warm, around body temperature. Heat above 110 degrees Fahrenheit destroys the enzymes that make this work. This primes your liver's detoxification completion and provides immediate glucose for brain function. Your brain uses 20% of your body's energy despite being only 2% of your body weight. Without glucose first thing in the morning, cognitive function stays sluggish for hours. But here's what most people don't know about raw honey. It contains boron, a trace mineral that's a critical testosterone cofactor. Boron increases the amount of free testosterone in your bloodstream by reducing the protein that binds testosterone and makes it unavailable. Studies show that men who consume adequate boron have 28% higher free testosterone levels. This absorption happens specifically during that morning enzyme window when your body is converting cholesterol into testosterone. Without boron present, your Leydig cells can't complete the conversion process efficiently, and you end up with low testosterone despite your body working hard to produce it. This single step jumpstarts your hormonal production for the entire day ahead. Step 2 happens between 7:30 and 8 a.m., roughly 30 minutes after the honey water, before any solid breakfast. 1 full serving of dark leafy greens, spinach, kale, or arugula, consumed either raw in a smoothie or lightly steamed if you prefer it warm. These greens are loaded with dietary nitrates. Your body converts these nitrates into nitric oxide specifically during morning hours when endothelial cells are most active and receptive to signaling. This is your circulation activator. This is what reopens restricted blood vessels and allows oxygen-rich blood to reach every part of your body that's been starving for proper flow. The timing of this step is critical because nitric oxide production peaks when it receives both the raw materials from the greens and the enzymatic activation that's happening naturally in your endothelial cells during morning hours. If you eat these same greens at dinner, your body can't convert the nitrates as efficiently because the enzyme activity has declined. You'll get some benefit, but nowhere near the 3x effectiveness of morning consumption. This is why meal timing matters more than most nutritionists acknowledge. Step 3 happens between 8 o'clock and 8:30 a.m. during breakfast. 3 to 4 servings of omega-3 rich foods, walnuts, ground flax seeds, or fatty fish like salmon if you're having a full breakfast. Omega-3 fatty acids reduce vascular inflammation and improve the flexibility of blood vessel walls. Inflammation is what makes vessels rigid and unable to expand properly. When vessels can't expand, blood pressure rises and circulation to extremities decreases. During the morning absorption window, omega-3s integrate into cell membranes 40% more efficiently than if consumed later in the day. This is what makes the circulation improvements permanent instead of temporary. You're literally rebuilding your blood vessel walls with healthier, more flexible material. The order matters more than most people realize, and here's why. Honey first equals metabolic priming. It opens the gates and activates your liver's nutrient processing system. Greens second equals nitric oxide activation. It signals the repair mechanisms in your vascular system to begin. Omega-3's third equals vascular flexibility. It locks in the changes while the system is wide open and receptive to structural improvements. If you reverse this order or skip steps, you're essentially giving your body half instructions and wondering why you're getting half results. Richard followed this sequence religiously. No skipping steps. No I'll do it later excuses. No close enough modifications. He told me the biggest psychological shift was waking up with a purpose. He had a morning ritual that made him feel powerful and proactive, not just another pill to choke down that reminded him of decline. That mindset change matters more than people acknowledge because consistency comes from identity, not willpower. When you see yourself as someone who takes care of his health strategically, you don't need to force yourself to follow through. It becomes automatic. By week 3, his morning erections returned naturally without any pharmaceutical assistance. His energy lasted past 3 p.m. without that afternoon crash that used to send him to the couch. He stopped waking up multiple times at night, which meant deeper sleep and better recovery. His mental fog lifted completely. He could remember names and conversations without that frustrating hesitation. And his wife told me privately during a follow-up appointment, "I have my husband back. Not just physically, emotionally. He's engaged again. He initiates conversations. He makes plans for the future. It's like someone turned the lights back on inside him." Richard isn't an anomaly or some exceptional case I'm using to mislead you. I've had men in their 70s report similar transformations. Thomas, 72, told me his golf game improved because his stamina came back strong enough to walk 18 holes again instead of needing the cart. Marcus, 68, said his grandkids noticed Grandpa plays harder now during their weekend visits and asked what changed. And James, 71, shared something that stuck with me. Doc, I didn't realize how much my confidence had faded until it came back. I was walking through life on autopilot, just going through motions. Now I feel like I'm actually living again instead of just existing. The common thread connecting every success story? They all followed the morning window protocol consistently for 3 weeks minimum. No shortcuts. No, I'll try it when I remember approach. No modifications because they thought they knew better. Your body needs signal repetition to rebuild vascular pathways that have been compromised for years, or even decades. One morning won't fix years of decline. 3 mornings won't either. But 21 consecutive mornings creates biological momentum that compounds daily, where each day's improvements build on the previous day's foundation. And gentlemen, this isn't just about intimacy, though that's a beautiful side effect that improves marriages and restores connection between partners who've drifted apart. This is about reclaiming the energy, the mental sharpness, and the physical presence you thought aging had stolen permanently. This is about looking in the mirror and recognizing yourself again instead of seeing a tired stranger staring back. Now, I need to be direct with you about something important. If you're listening to this right now and thinking, I'll try it eventually, you need to understand what that delay costs you. Every morning you skip this protocol is another morning your blood vessels calcify a little bit more. The 90-minute window doesn't wait for you to feel motivated. Your body is sending you signals right now. Low energy, weak erections, brain fog, frequent nighttime urination. And those signals get quieter as circulation worsens. Not because you're healing, but because nerve sensitivity declines as oxygen deprivation continues. Eventually, you stop noticing the decline because it becomes your new normal. That's the most dangerous phase because you accept dysfunction as inevitable. Richard almost didn't start when I first explained it to him. He waited 2 full weeks after our consultation, telling himself he'd get around to it once life calmed down. Those 2 weeks cost him 14 opportunities to activate repair mechanisms. 14 mornings wasted. 14 days of continued decline instead of recovery. When he finally started and saw results, his biggest regret was not beginning immediately. Don't be like early Richard who delayed. Be like committed Richard who finally started and transformed his life. If you don't want to miss protocols like this, methods that actually work with your aging body instead of fighting against it, subscribe to this channel right now, because next week, I'm revealing the evening protocol that amplifies everything we've discussed today. The men who implement both morning and evening routines report results in 10 days instead of 21. That acceleration happens because you're giving your body 2 metabolic windows instead of 1. But if you're not subscribed, you'll miss it completely, and you'll be left wondering why your progress feels slower than it should. And here's something I want you to consider. There's a man in your life right now, a friend, a brother, a golf buddy, who's suffering in silence with the same circulation decline you've been dealing with. He won't talk about it openly. He's too proud or too embarrassed to bring it up. But if you share this video with him, you might be giving him the information that changes his trajectory. You know exactly who I'm talking about. Send this to him. Help him the way this information is helping you. In my next video, I'm covering the one evening habit that triples the effectiveness of the morning protocol. And it involves something you're probably already eating, just at completely the wrong time of day. It's the second half of Richard's transformation story, and the reason his results came so much faster than typical cases I see. The morning window activates the system and gets everything flowing again. The evening window locks in the repair and signals your body to make the changes permanent. Together, they create sustained vascular regeneration that doesn't fade when you stop the protocol. That permanence is what separates temporary improvement from actual healing. Until then, start your mornings right. Your body has been waiting for this signal. Give it what it's been asking for, and watch what happens when you finally work with your biology instead of against it. I'm Dr. May Anderson, and I'll see you in the next video where we complete this protocol and accelerate your results dramatically.